Hello and thanks for checking out TheChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Checking in on the MJ sector, we had bulls show up this morning. Some of the moves faded. APHA and ACB stand out as fading, with CGC and CRON standing out as closing strong. So we'll look at everybody individually, keeping in mind that if you want a complete picture, you need to be looking at the US tickers because they have Monday's trading data, and the Canadian names do not. So I'm not going to look at only US tickers here, but that is the premise of the video. So CGC closing at the high of the day is notable. The resistance is our triple top up here essentially at 46. It's 45.95, but we're going to round that to 46 as the most important resistance. And I see two scenarios playing out. Well, three. Number one is we just keep going on this bull move and break bullish tomorrow. That would break our daily lower highs and it would increase the odds a good bit that our weekly higher low has been established. Scenario number two, we reject from $46 and need to consolidate. If that were the case, we would have an inverse head and shoulders pattern set up with our left shoulder, head, failure to break 46, need to form a higher low, and then look for the trend change from there. And scenario three would be the inability to break 46, and then we drop down and break 43. That's the least likely scenario in my opinion, and we're just watching to see, can the bulls break 46 tomorrow? We have an hourly support level down at 44.61 as short-term support. Cron bulls finally showing up in a big way. I'm still holding my Cron swing because my stop loss has not been triggered, and I'm looking for it to be a monthly higher low, and I have a target in the low $20 range. That being said, my target may shift, but my stop loss may shift as well. So I'm probably going to move up my stop loss. It was down below $13.90. I'm going to move it up under this $14.45 support to ensure that worst case scenario, I'm still going to have a solid win on this trade no matter what. So we got the bull break of 1560 without a ton of follow through. That's not too alarming for the bulls because we were very extended when 1560 did break. We have not consolidated on the hourly. Every hourly candlestick has been a higher low today. So we know that next time we pull back on the hourly, we're going to look for a higher low to form. And our key resistance is 1567, the high of today, and then 1590. And if we can break 1590 and convincingly change this daily trend with follow through, I'm going to be really liking my positioning for the potential of this monthly higher low. So we do need a bit more follow through. And even if we start strong tomorrow, we have to just be aware that the hourly chart is a bit overextended due to that lack of consolidation, and our new daily higher low very clearly 1445. ACB, so profit taking today, we have our low from earnings, our high from the earnings reaction, our higher low is 844. And if that's our lower high, it's going to favor the bears. If we have already topped out on this move at 879, then we're likely going to see a lower high and lower low on this daily chart. If the bulls, however, can hold this base of support at 861 and see some bounce continuation, then we'll say that our daily lower high has not been set yet. But if we see a break of 861 and we fade back down towards 844 support, again, reminder that we have not changed the daily trend on ACB. The bull move broke some resistances, but we need the confirmation of a higher low and higher high to confirm a daily trend change, and we don't have that at this point. So if we were to bear break, it would just be a lower high and lower low and continued bearish downtrend. So not the kind of close that the ACB bulls were hoping for. APHA fading as well, grinding the 12-period daily exponential resistance and rejecting yet again. Anything under 713 was just a lower high on the daily chart, and we topped out at 708. So from here on the hourly time frame for APHA, if the bulls can show up tomorrow morning, we'll look for an hourly equilibrium. And if we do not show up tomorrow with the bulls, we're going to look at 681, 673, and then the low of the pullback is the only other support level. Bulls have some proving to do, and I would be watching for an hourly higher low to form tomorrow morning if it's not already set at 681. So looking for an hourly tightening range on APHA. TLRY held the low of yesterday by a penny, so a double bottom. It's a daily inside bar. Bulls are proving nothing at this point, If we can break 44.79, and there's another level in there, 44.93, break 44.93, and we shift the hourly momentum. Then we zoom out to the daily chart, and we expect anything under 50.48 is just a lower high on the daily. So we're not looking to change the daily trend anytime soon. All we're looking to do is try and see some kind of bounce follow through, and we have to break 44.93 to do it. That's the short-term line in the sand. OGI got the profit taking we were anticipating on the uplisting, which is why I sold everything yesterday afternoon. So we are now looking at an hourly equilibrium, and if tomorrow morning we break 1043, we're going to watch for hourly oversold conditions to potentially give us a daily higher low. So our new hourly resistance is 1089, and then we're looking at 1130, and if we break that 1043 level, again, hourly oversold will be on watch, and I will be using the US ticker for hourly oversold, but we have not populated this chart on TradingView just yet with the NASDAQ OGI. So I am watching the RSI levels on the US ticker OGI on my platform, Fidelity, and keeping an eye out to see if weakness continues into tomorrow. Hexo, trying to get some follow through. We have the low, high of the bull move, higher low. If you look at SPY the last 6 trading days, it's the same pattern here, very correlated. Anything under 740 is just a daily lower high. We've got resistance of 703, 705, and 710. So tomorrow, if we see a bear break of 695, that's a red flag, because that would be potentially our daily lower high being set, which would not favor the bulls. And if we can get a bull break of 705 and see some bounce follow through, it's still all about 740. But again, that gives the bulls more space to work with to remain in this tightening range. And at this point, just looking at price levels, it's an 85-cent range. Actually, 75-cent range. So we have seen about a bounce to the midway point. But from here, if we can get one more little leg up over 705, then this daily pattern will begin to shift to start to favor the bulls as opposed to favoring the bears a bit. CTST, using this because of the trading yesterday. So still a weekly bear flag. It is up to the bulls to try and negate this weekly bear flag. They're fading down. I would expect 552 support to hold the first time around. We have 580 and 552 supports on any kind of daily bounce. Anything under 644 is just a lower high, but I do expect a daily higher low to form in the near-term future. Bear volume dropping off here. So if we can get a bull break of 597 tomorrow, our daily higher low will be set, and the sights will be back on 644 to see if this bounce can get any continuation. VFF, still in a potential daily bull flag pattern, but again, just a lot of profit taking. Bulls are struggling with the strong open. Sold off all day. Potential hourly bear flag. If we break 1309 tomorrow, the odds of the daily bear flag or the daily bull flag will continue to drop the more we pull back from here. And if the bulls are going to shift momentum, they have to get over 1339, which is where we topped out on an afternoon bounce. Changing the hourly trend is the signal that we look for our daily higher low to be established. And at this point, the bulls have to hold 1309 and break 1339 to try and shift this hourly trend back in favor of the bulls. T-God. So bulls showed up today. I don't know what. I saw this happen at the end of the day and I said, okay, that's got to be news. I don't know what the news is. But then I was shocked to find out there was no news. So I don't know if that's insider information or what. Some stop buys were definitely triggered on a 405 break here, because I've been saying anything under 405 means nothing. But that level breaking does shift momentum. It's choppy on the daily. So I look at the weekly for clarity when that is the case. And I can say, all right, the weekly chart's in a downtrend of lower highs and lower lows. Anything under 463 is just a lower high. If the bulls can keep up this momentum and we can't break 463, but we get close, that's when we have the setup for a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern where we go from lower highs and lower lows to another lower high to a higher low and then a bull break. That's looking prematurely at that pattern, but it's something on my mind. And we'll see, can this move sustain with no reason for it as far as I know. 406 is support, back test and holding previous resistance as support. 417 resistance. If we start tomorrow and break 405 and head back down towards $4, it's going to be a daily inside bar, and it's going to pretty much tell us that that was a bit of a fluke move. If the bulls break the high of today tomorrow, there's certainly something to it, and we'll see tomorrow morning potentially some news will come out to give us a reason here. Labs, support is 670 and resistance is 662. So I'm looking at a tightening range on shorter term time frames. This is the range to be watching. 670 support, 739 resistance. You could watch tighter levels if you wanted. 729 is also key. But if we break 670, daily consolidation very clearly underway, and we'll have to form a higher low compared to 575. So already daily consolidation is underway. It's just a question of whether it's a bull flag, which it still is possible right now, but we did close at the low of the day. If we break 670, I will say the bull flag is negated. If we hold 670, I'd say the bull flag's a possibility. But either way, bulls are fairly comfortable in the sense that we are just looking for a daily higher low to form compared to 575. Oils is in a tightening range. Head and shoulders pattern to be aware of. So this could lead to weekly consolidation if we break 55 cents. And we would look for a weekly higher low to form because we haven't formed a weekly higher low since we started trading. So just need to be cautious here. And we have a bit of an equilibrium with our high of 83, our low of 55, our lower high is now 72. Question is, can the bulls hold 55 and stay in an equilibrium? Or are we going to roll over, see a bear volume spike, break that support, and see weekly consolidation? VGW is also in an equilibrium. 490 is the high. And again, this was the most likely setup that we've been anticipating. Lower high compared to 490 was 475. And now we look for a higher low compared to 371. Bulls still have a lot of space to work with. So we would anticipate staying in this tightening range, at least for a while longer. Curaleaf, still weak, closed at the low. Weekly support of 1274 is approaching. Break 1274 and we're looking at 1245 and then a gap at 1228. You can see the bears are clearly in control. The USMJ sector has been steadily selling off over the last few weeks, at least, some of them for a couple months. And we're watching for Curaleaf to potentially lose the weekly uptrend as the sector leader and need more prolonged consolidation, which means zoom out to the monthly chart, and we could be looking for the first monthly consolidation since the all-time low. So 1274 is key support. If 1274 breaks, I'll be watching for the daily chart to potentially be headed towards oversold conditions, and then I would be interested. But where we stand right now, I'm not really interested in Curaleaf with the potential of losing this weekly uptrend. It is a bottom fishing play with 1274 support, but I anticipate we're likely going to break that level. IAN, now I'm interested. So there's a bear volume spike. Now we're getting some aggressiveness by the bears. You can see the last few days, nothing, and then a big red Marubozu, a big drop, and some bear momentum. So I'm interested tomorrow. I might scale in tomorrow. It all depends on what we see, but I'm going to do the exact same play setup that I did back here last time. Daily oversold, started to scale in, scaled out into strength, kept a partial position. I still have that partial long-term position, and it is still green because of how I managed this trade. So I'm looking to do the same thing to begin scaling in to oversold daily conditions. The 4-hour RSI is oversold. The hourly is oversold. When those four line up, I personally am comfortable scaling in because I really like oversold bounce plays. So I would look to enter 2 to 3 positions. And just roughly off the top of my head as an example, this is not what I'm going to do, but let's just say 544 would be an initial entry, then 534, then 524. So I'm spacing out a couple percent in between each scale in, knowing that if these orders fill, that hourly, 4-hour, and daily RSI are going to be getting down to extremes and getting to historical bounce levels. And then when we start to bounce, I will scale out into strength. Again, knowing that I'm looking for a monthly higher low in a monthly equilibrium, I would want to keep partial position like I've done on Cron for the potential of a monthly higher low. So while I would scale out and lock in some profit on the oversold bounce, I would keep a partial position. And that's exactly what I did with Cron. Cron was extremely weak on the daily and weekly time frame, and at this point, that position is up over 10%, and we're starting to look better and better for the potential of that monthly higher low being set. So I'm going to be looking to do the exact same thing on IAN. We do have earnings approaching. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but that has to be a factor in your trade as well. It's not immediate. It's not in the imminent future, but it is approaching. And the question is, can the bulls bounce from historical bounce RSI levels like we've seen multiple times in the last bunch of months? TRUL. Very nice follow through. Anything under 1810 is a lower high on the daily, but the bulls are giving themselves a lot of space to work with to form a higher low once we do top out. Every single day is a higher low 5 days in a row. Break that pattern and our top is set and we look to pull back. The bulls will then have to form a higher low compared to 1455 to try and change the daily trend. Need the higher low and higher high to do it. Bulls still strong, but all about 1810, and if we can't break it, lower high will be set. And we'll wrap it up with CL. Head and shoulders pattern is here as well, going from higher lows and higher highs to a lower high, and if we break 1477 support, it would be a lower low. So have to be cautious, because if this does occur, more prolonged consolidation is coming. And again, just like Curaleaf, who's now just starting monthly consolidation, CL may just now be starting monthly consolidation. The monthly volume is very low. You can see we're almost done the month, 3/4 of the way through, and nothing's going on for volume's sake. But if we lose that weekly uptrend, which the most important level for the weekly uptrend is 1416 for me, but that's a bit of an early signal on the daily. If we do break 1477, the bottom line is we have to be cautious because monthly consolidation is already underway for tons of names in the sector, and the names that have held out the strongest and were at all-time highs while everybody else was consolidating, they're now showing signs of monthly consolidation potentially shaping up as well. So I am still very interested in monthly timeframes across the sector. It has helped with game plans and strategies going forward, and I'm going to continue using it because we have a lot of very clear setups on monthly timeframes in tightening ranges. APHA is looking for a monthly higher low. Even CTST, TRST, our weakest names, they're looking for monthly higher lows. Cron's looking for the higher low on the monthly. We've got IAN is looking for its monthly higher low to stay in the equilibrium. So that's what I'm watching. And I do believe, I've said it before, but SPY is going to determine what this summer does. Everybody's talking about a summer lull, and the summer lull has been priced in the spring, in my opinion. The summer is 1 month away from today. So the summer hasn't even started. If SPY goes to all-time highs in June, I expect that the summer lull will have been priced in prematurely, and it will be a spring lull, and the summer bulls are going to show up for monthly higher lows. If SPY sees weakness, drops down, breaks 280, and sees further monthly consolidation, then it's all bets are off, and we can definitely see some fear come into this sector. I do not anticipate any fear in this sector if the S&P 500 is up at the all-time highs. So how SPY breaks is going to dictate, for me personally, what I feel is most likely to occur over the summer. But just knowing the amount of people on social media who have been talking about a summer lull, that tells me the market is going to price it in. And it wouldn't be a summer lull that would lead to weakness from here. It would be overall market weakness in the S&P 500. So do good things out there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll check back in tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night. Hey everyone, time for a garden update. We've got the basil doing their thing in these boxes. Tomatoes, I left a couple of them 2 per, and I left some 1 per as I'm experimenting with tomatoes in big pots this year. And pretty much in North Carolina, you're gonna get blight, which is a fungus that just destroys tomatoes, and it's already starting. It's pretty much just trying to delay it as much as you can to get some tomatoes before it gets the whole plant. Cucumbers working their way up. These are little sour gherkin guys. These are the cutest cucumbers you've ever seen. Gotta get the baby cucumber. That's a cucumber. And then we got the bigger ones going on over here. They're flowering, getting ready to do their thing, much bigger. Try and find some praying mantis which are roaming around. Summer squash filling up that pot. He's starting to flower. You can see those are going to be some zucchinis in there. The potatoes are exploding and they're starting to flower. And here's an example of a potato flower. That's a random potato from the compost pile that's doing its thing. These are all flowers. So these will eventually flower in a month or so. That's all the wildflower seed that I spread out. What else we got? Pepper. winter squash. It's gonna run wild. Eggplant, chard, string beans. Strawberries have been going for a few weeks. Lots of fresh strawberries. And the snap peas are starting to climb up the deck and do their thing with the nasturtium. Nasturtium's a good one to have around, grows fast, everything's edible out of it. There's another pepper. Some more squash. Lettuce is just about done. And then some kale and some collard greens. So this is my temporary garden spot before I get to my real spot in a month or so.